To protect my daughter, his parents imprisoned him in a machine less than 10 square meters. Even when delivering supplies to him every day, they will all stay far away. No contact. Because my daughter has suffered from sepsis since she was a child, you can only breathe the air filtered by the purification cabin. I thought I would stay in this big coffin for the rest of my life. I never thought that an accident would come. On this day, the purification cabin lit up inexplicably. What's even more frightening is through the glass they noticed a sudden flow of yellow air on the street. These airflows are discharged from city sewer pipes. All those who accidentally inhaled it fell to the ground. The father who was on the street looked confused, but he didn't wait for her to take 2 steps. I saw a larger airflow coming towards her. With just one stupid move, he was already about to be attacked. The street instantly became a mess. The man also ran towards home with all his strength. After rushing home, he hurriedly took his wife away from the window next second. The poisonous gas instantly blurred the windows, and they're so pervasive, it seeped directly into the home through the cracks. Fortunately, my daughter has the protection of the evolution cabin. After the man turned it into power-saving mode, he quickly took his wife and left quickly, watching the poisonous gas rushing upstairs. They can only run to higher floors finally. The couple arrived at the top floor. There is a kind old couple living in this house. He let them in without any difficulty. The mother quickly took out the intercom and asked about her daughter, after learning that nothing happened. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. Then several people came to the balcony. Looking at the terrible scene below my feet, they are speechless. But that's not the scariest thing. Then man climbed onto the roof. Look around, I saw that the whole city was shrouded in poisonous fog. Looks like a paradise on Earth. There's a murderous intent hidden inside, and the poison caused a complete power outage. The girl is fine in the evolution cabin. But the power of the used battery can't last tonight at all, so the man is going to hold his breath and go downstairs to change the battery for you. After she came to the corridor, tentatively, stirring up a wisp of smoke. Although the gas is colorless and odorless, but it's really poisonous. It takes more than 10 minutes to replace the battery and go back and forth. There's no way a person can hold it in for so long. At this time, the man suddenly thought that there was an uncle downstairs. Always have an oxygen bottle at home. For the safety of my daughter, he decided to risk climbing down the water pipe. Just when we are about to enter the poisonous fog, the man took a deep breath subsequently. He held this breath and soon arrived at the target floor. After breaking the window, she successfully entered the uncle's house, just about to search. I saw a person lying on the ground. The man stepped forward quickly, found out it was the neighbor's uncle, but it's gone. Breathe. Men don't have time to be sad because I can't hold on anymore. And what's worse, the oxygen bottle that the uncle usually carries with him is not nearby at this time. The man panicked. I quickly took out my flashlight and searched everywhere. However, I searched all over the house and couldn't find it. Just when the man is about to suffocate, finally found the oxygen bottle in a corner. Immediately afterwards, he didn't dare to delay. I quickly put on an oxygen mask, then quickly unscrew the valve. Finally breathed in oxygen at the last moment. After calming down, he filled an extra oxygen bottle, just about to leave, but suddenly I heard a sound coming from the bedroom, driven by curiosity. The man raised the hammer and opened the door. Only then did I realize it was a puppy. But the strange thing is, the puppy is not only fine, very excited. Are animals immune to poison gas? But what I saw soon refuted this inference. Because the mother dog in the room is dead, although doubtful, but men don't have time to think too much. Immediately afterwards he came home, successfully replaced my daughter with a spare battery. I also brought some daily necessities in order to find more spare batteries. Then he came downstairs again. I saw them losing their balance in the silent streets and watching them foam at the mouth and die. Tragic situation. The man unconsciously tightened his oxygen mask. Then she got under the car, collected a lot of spare batteries, just when the man was about to leave, but suddenly I heard a whistle. She walked over curiously. I saw a huge team coming here. The man came forward to ask and found out. It turned out that they were sent by the army to evacuate the surviving people. Now the whole city has fallen. The higher-ups decided to lock down the city after some search and rescue operations. Talking room. Rove. Their captain saw a leak in the oxygen bottle the man was carrying. He also took out a pure oxygen cylinder and put it in for her. Then he asked the man to hurry up and follow the large army. But the man can't leave because his family is still here. The captain is helpless, but I can only turn around and leave. At this time, the man stopped the captain again. Request for another set of oxygen equipment. He also told him about his daughter's condition, although the equipment is extremely expensive, but in the end the captain gave him another set. Now, after going back, the man was horrified to find that the level of poisonous gas was gradually rising. If you continue to stay here, you will be poisoned sooner or later. They must take their daughter and escape from here. and my daughter can only come out if she puts on a spacesuit. But the spacesuit is far away in a laboratory downtown. But at this time, the couple was eager to save their daughter. Decided to take the risk to find Ty on an empty stomach, I learned that my parents were going to the city center. The daughter asked them to visit her friends. His friend also suffers from depression like him. And my parents are not at home all year round. This request for my daughter, they decisively refuse because in this current situation, everyone is in danger. They have no obligation to help other people's children. The couple is helpless, but in the end I agreed to my daughter to stop by and take a look. But the strange thing is, after they came to the boys' house, found no one inside because oxygen is about to bottom out. The two of them didn't have much time. Then they quickly came to the laboratory and successfully found the space mansion. Then the two of them took the box and were about to leave. Unexpectedly, the laboratory exploded. Fortunately, it didn't take long for them to wake up. But the man suddenly felt out of breath. Only then did I discover that the oxygen pipe was broken. Now there is only one oxygen bottle. The couple can only use it back and forth alternately. You also have to carry a heavy spacesuit. They walked and stopped all the way. I don't know how long it took to get to the top. What's worse is this bottle of oxygen is about to bottom out, so most of them will die here. So the man decided to let his wife go back first. I will find a way to get home later. My wife is extremely reluctant to leave because he knew there was no oxygen bottle. Husband narrowly escaped death. But when I think of my daughter at home, she still held back her tears and left. But I never thought that this farewell would be forever. To save oxygen, Bob would be running wildly in the street. Unexpectedly, the oxygen still didn't last long enough for him to rush home. Time is urgent. He quickly took off the oxygen bottle, then he held back his breath again. With difficulty, I dragged the box to the top floor. Fortunately, I finally came back. But he never thought that the scene he saw next would make him suffocate even more than the poison gas. I saw a big hole burned into the spacesuit by the explosion just now. Been busy for a long time, but it's all in vain, woman. Desperate the other side, the man is still rushing home along the roof, but I saw a dead man on a rooftop, such a long bloodstain, he was obviously killed. The man looked at the bloodstains. Be brave and walk inside. There are indeed signs of someone living inside. In addition to supplies, there is even an oxygen bottle filled with it. He looked at it again after making sure no one is nearby. Then he directly carried the oxygen bottle on his back. Prepare to take this opportunity to go back. But before he walked out of the big house, a man in police uniform walked in and warned him to put down the oxygen bottle. The man saw through it with just one word: this oxygen bottle is no his at all. But this policeman used the weapon in his hand to snatch it away, and he was brutally killed for this. See exposed. The police also decided to hit. His right hand slowly touched the gun. Unexpectedly, this scene was caught by the man who was on guard. She put on an oxygen mask and pushed the policeman down. Heavy poison. Then the two of them struggled together. At this time, the pistol accidentally fell to the ground. The police want to get the gun but was hugged tightly by the man from behind. The bag without the oxygen mask did not last for 3 seconds. He received the lunchbox. There is no joy in the man's heart. He knows he is not cruel, but it was he who lay down. He stood up and hurried home quickly. His wife, who was waiting for him to come home, suddenly discovered that the battery in her daughter's evolution cabin was about to run out. Husband is not at home. He suddenly lost his mind, but it took a while. Seeing that my husband has not returned home for a long time, she decided to take the risk to replace her daughter's battery. Looking at the deadly poisonous gas in the corridor, the woman took a deep breath. Then he got into the poisonous gas without hesitation. He runs fast, but no matter how fast it is, it can't compare to the pervasive poisonous gas. I saw my mother came down without wearing an oxygen mask. Woman, but in the purification chamber, I was extremely anxious. But his mother didn't have time to explain to him. Quickly replaced the spare battery for the purification chamber. Looking at the lit instruments, he was relieved. But when I finally left, the woman seemed to have a premonition of something. I'm not in a hurry to go upstairs. He began to look deeply at his baby daughter. Finally, under the constant urging of my daughter, my mother was reluctant to leave. I do not know how long it has been. The man finally arrived. However, looking at the scene in front of me, he was stunned. Unbelievable. I slowly approached, but as the distance gets closer and closer, tears welled up under the man's thick oxygen mask, looking at my wife, who was lying in the corridor and had already lost her breath. He can't hold back anymore, but the dead are already. The living must be strong. Unexpectedly, before the man could cheer up, my daughter's voice came from the intercom. Men know they can't hide it. I also understand that this kind of thing must be said by myself, but the words come to your lips. But he couldn't speak for a long time, because she doesn't want to admit that her wife has left. Finally, the man walked to the balcony. I just told my daughter about the death. After listening, I huddled up in the corner silently. Still not born. For the first time, he felt that he was a failure. Not long after a sudden minor incident at home, the earthquake was originally just a slowly rising supply. At this time, it began to rise significantly. This place will be completely destroyed soon. The man decided to go out and try his luck again. Let's see if we can find some more protective clothing for the two elderly people. The old man smiled and shook his head. Because their lifespan is not long. Don't want to waste resources belonging to young people anymore at last. He took the hand of his wife and walked leisurely on the road. Is this a local criminal? Your side. Man luckily found a top-level protective suit for his daughter in a truck, because I was worried that it would be too late to rush back and cause a big disaster. He found any donkey on the roadside and drove back. However, visibility in Poissonous Gas is extremely low. In Adidion, the man opened his alveoli next second. A little boy suddenly jumped out. Men can't dodge body directly throw away. Unexpectedly, his head hit the iron bucket. Then he fainted directly. I don't know how much time has passed since I woke up. He hobbled with a walkie-talkie and called his daughter all the way, but the daughter opposite didn't make a sound. The thought that my daughter might have died tragically at home. A man's legs can no longer take half a step forward. She leaned against the car in despair, preparing to wait silently for death. But suddenly I noticed that two people seemed to be walking in the white mist. The man stood up in disbelief, and the next scene seemed like a dream to her. I saw my daughter running over alive and kicking. It turned out that the evolution cabin at the home of the friend she was looking for had long since disappeared. I never thought about it, but accidentally discovered their symptoms. And you immune to poison gas. The man was very happy after hearing this, but the next second she opened her oxygen mask, but go fly. Then with a puzzled look on her daughter's face, a man kissed his daughter on the cheek for the first time. The last funny thing is, wait until he wakes up again, but found out that he and his daughter had exchanged identities. This time, the person lying in the evolution cabin was replaced by myself.